Angeles, it's the USA Medical Podcast. And here's your host, Jay Crossman.
Settle down. My name is Jake. Welcome back to the USA Medical Podcast, the only live health podcast that takes place in Glendale, California, I think. I have not done the podcast in a while, but it had to come back because I have more things to share, and I think I miss talking to you. I think I used to get a lot of good feedback on exactly what we were talking about and the conversations we were having, and I just want to keep that going. So today is, because it's the first episode back, I want to tell a bit of a story and then just kind of see where we go. I just was asked to speak at a medical conference this last weekend. My first time ever being invited to a conference to speak, and I had a bad time. It turned out that the doctor in charge of it all is a vegan, a pretty serious plant-based vegan, and pretty seriously the whole time talked about how dumb meat eaters are. You know, we're killing ourselves eating meat. And long story short, you know, we tested everyone's blood, both the vegans and my blood, and my blood looked better than the vegans. And he said, well, how do you do that? How could you possibly eat meat and then fool my test? That's what he said. And I said, well, I fast every day. I do an intermittent fast until about 6 p.m. He said, oh, that's the only way you could fool my test, if you fast. If you fast, you can fool my test. Fool his test, he said. And so I guess I fooled his test. I guess my blood looked so good, he couldn't tell I was a disgusting meat eater about to die. And, you know, it's like, what I've learned as a health consultant is that there are so many different diets and so many food groups and so many different things that we can eat and so many micronutrients and so many there are so many things that we don't know. Like, everyone's taken a guess. Everyone's taken a stab at what they think it is, you know? And I think a lot of the severe elimination diets, like, you know, carnivore is a severe elimination diet. You're eating nothing but, you know, protein, and in that, and even as protein, you're only eating meat protein, you know, like no avocados, right, in carnivore. Keto is kind of the carnivore plus, so you get the avocados and you get that kind of stuff. But then you get the other side of things. It's like, okay, well, then you get the severe elimination of all things animal, right? You get the vegan diets. It's like, well, you know, you only eat beets, and, you know, then you can get even more severe. You get the juice diets. You know, I'm not eating anything except for juice, you know, and what that all tells me is that we don't know anything. So anybody that tells you that they have figured out the correct diet for humans is lying to you. It doesn't exist. It's not real. There is no correct diet for humans. In fact, I would venture a guess and say that every human has a different correct diet. Seriously. I don't necessarily think that within our tribe, within our family, it might be different. I think typically family eating habits are they're typically the same within a family. But I do think that different tribes have different eating habits, especially, I mean, if you live in different parts of the world, if you live somewhere where you don't have access to, you know, anything, let's say you don't have access to cows or chickens or what, you know, you're going to eat what you have. And your body is an incredible adapter. It's incredible adaptation. And no matter what you eat, you're going to adapt to it. I think one of the things we can't adapt to, however, is extraordinarily processed foods. I think our bodies have a very, very hard time adapting to processed foods, in the sense that processed foods tend to create inflammation in our gut, in our stomach, and it's that inflammation that kind of counteracts anything good within the food. You know, anything in that processed food that's good for us, the inflammation kind of does more damage than it's worth. Second, I think the more natural the food, the easier it is to tell if it's within your diet or not. For example, last night, I never eat like typical American foods, ever. Seriously, never. And last night, there was like a meal someone was making, and it was like a really typical like taco seasoning, ground beef, kind of just BS meal. You know, it's like, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but like, like anytime food is using a seasoning packet, that's like an American meal, you know, a seasoning packet, you know, in my opinion. Anyways, I ended up throwing up last night. I don't know why, because I don't think the food was like bad. I just remember the amount of seasoning, and I think this is hilarious to someone to be like, white people can't handle seasoning. No, it's not about that I can't. Well, I guess I couldn't handle it, but I guess it's more about that. Just like, it's gross. Like, my body finds it repulsive, the amount of processed seasonings that we tend to use on, or that Americans typically use in food, like a ranch seasoning packet. That's disgusting to me. I don't know what that is. So I did throw up last night, and I ended up going downstairs. If you ever throw up, what I recommend is drink some kefir right away. That's gonna get the probiotics back into your gut. So I had some kefir and a banana right away, just to get prebiotics. Then I took some CBG, because at that point my esophagus is going to be inflamed, and I kind of just feel like bad today. Like, I just feel like right there, like, ugh, doesn't feel good. So need more CBG today to help with that. And then so I took CBG, and then I took some magnesium to help relax my gut, relax my stomach, and I fell asleep and went to bed pretty easily. But yeah, whatever that was, it was not good. Whatever, you know, it could have been a combination of a lot of things in that meal, but it was a very typical American meal. That's why I said that. Like, it's very typical of just like seasonings and crap and fried foods, and it wasn't fried. It was actually made in olive oil, but it was just like, wasn't it? All that to say, all that to say, there was a lot of different ingredients in that meal. There was ground beef and like 5 different types of vegetables, actually 6 or 7, because we also had tomatoes and peppers, and then there was all these seasoning, like just tons of different like seasonings, and then like this really nasty rice that was also seasoned. So the rice was heavily seasoned. It's just gross, man. Like, you can't do that. You got to eat more natural foods, you know? Like, I'm going to go get sushi today. I'm going to go get, like, plain white rice and raw fish, and that's going to be what I eat today. Because, like, it's just so easy to determine if a food's good for you or not when it's... Because last night, I can't point to. I don't know. Was it the beef? Was it the 6 or 7 different vegetables? Was it the seasoning? Was it the rice? Like, I don't know. There was so much. And so if you can't point to what caused you the problem, it's like, well, the meal had too much in it, you know? If you can't, you know, if I had only had white rice, cabbage, and then, you know, a burger patty, and I got really sick, it's like, well, I don't think the white rice would have caused it. I doubt it was the burger, because it smelled good. Probably the cabbage, right? Or it was like, no, actually that meat smelled a little bit off. I think it was the meat. Like, it's easy. It's much easier to do that, and then you can actually like have a good understanding of what may have caused it. But like I said, with the American diet, the really heavily processed, really heavily ingredient seasoning heavy foods, it's like, well, you have no idea what caused it. So yeah, I highly recommend anyone that has stomach problems, or if you ever throw up, or if you ever just don't feel right, you gotta just cut the food to like its simplest origins. Another thing I say, people think I'm crazy that I cook this way, but I'm actually a bit of a trained chef, believe it or not. I worked in a high-end catering business for a little while. I never, ever salt food before I cook it. People think I'm crazy for that. Oh, you don't season your meat. Salt draws water out of food. So if you typically make ground beef, or you make, you know, whatever, stir fry, or you make eggs or whatever, and they're watery, it's because you're adding salt. The salt draws that water out. So I never salt anything before I make it, to keep the moisture within the food itself. And then you see me keep rubbing my chest today. I'm like, it's driving me crazy. Like, it just actually like kind of hurts. I don't know why it hurts. That's the problem, because it kind of feels muscular here, but then it kind of also feels like it's deeper. I don't know. I'm tripping out today. I don't like that. I don't like when I throw up. It messes with my whole next day. I don't even know what I was talking about. This is kind of on my mind right now. Just the different ingredients and seasonings and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I think we reached the point here. Just like the simpler the food, the better. Simplify your diet. Oh, don't salt before you cook. Just cook things naturally, man. Like a little bit of salt and pepper at the end. That's great. But like I think it's time to leave behind the taco seasonings and the ranch seasonings, and like it's gross, man. It's gross. Like it's gross. And if you like it, you got to think about why you like it. You know, you've become accustomed to it. If you actually ate more natural foods and tasted more natural foods, I think you'd realize you don't actually like the seasonings all that much. Maybe you do. But all that to say, today, I still think vegans are wrong. I still don't agree with vegans at all. I think there's definitely a way that you can be a vegan and be healthy. I've seen it. I mean, this guy, this doctor is clearly healthy, unquestionably healthy. You can do it, I guess. But it's better to eat round. I mean, we need protein, man. And his whole thing is that, like, oh, you can get... He's wrong. He says, like, we can eat the building blocks of protein and then we can build it. That's not true. There's certain amino acids our body can't get. And, you know, it's just like, as much as you wish that wasn't true, as much as you will it to be, you say, oh, I believe that I can eat plants and I will be healthy. It's like, that works until it doesn't. You know, it truly, truly works until it doesn't. And people get real sick and they get real tired and they get real, you know, it's just, there's a reason why I'm so big on eggs and so big on, like, you know, grass-fed beef and just like the best of the natural stuff, because it actually helps your body. You know, there's no, and this doctor disagrees with me vehemently. He basically says we should be getting 100 grams of fiber a day. I say there's absolutely no nutritional need for fiber. There's not. I don't see it. There's no nutritional need for fiber. He disagrees heavily, you know, and that's where we disagree. So today's point is that I keep learning more about nutrition and health and whatever, it's just so much bigger, and it's so much vaster than we understand, you know. But there's almost comfort in that, where it's like you can kind of eat whatever, you know. At the end of the day, you can kind of eat whatever. And if something's not working, if you have severe brain fog or pain or whatever, then it's like, okay, well, let's look at what you're eating and figure it out from there. And that's actually a great way to do it, you know. It's kind of like eat whatever. If you don't feel your best, if you don't feel great, if you're overweight, if you're sluggish, if you're tired, if you're in pain, whatever, well, now let's look at your diet. Let's have a call. Seriously. I mean, I do. That's what I do. I'm a health coach. Book a call. We'll have a call. We'll talk about what you're eating and what I think you should change to, and then we'll go from there. It's pretty simple. You know, diagnosing diagnosing is so much easier than trying to, like, build a plan for the world, you know. Like, it's like, Jake, build the food pyramid again. No, I don't know. I can't do that. I can't tell everybody how to eat, but I can tell you how to eat. You know what I mean? Like, if we talk, I can tell you how you should eat based on your history and and what symptoms you're dealing with. But yeah, so I guess that's the point. Eat whatever you want. No, the point is eat as healthy and organic and natural as you can. And make sure that you are being consistent with it, being simple with it. That way, if you have any problems, any kind of disease, ailment, whatever, then it's very easy to diagnose, right? If you eat simply, then it's easy to diagnose. If you eat processed, complex foods, then it's hard to diagnose. And a doctor will diagnose you with a pill versus nutrition. So that's episode 1. Where are we at? We're at 15. I like 15 minutes. It's a good episode. I'm not trying to waste anyone's time here. I'm trying to give you a thought, get in, get out, right? At the end of the day, nutrition's everything. You are built on nutrition. You are literally nutrition. What goes into your body becomes you. We have this idea that, like, we eat foods and our body extracts the nutrients and it builds our body. It's just not the case. Whatever you eat literally becomes you. Your body stores almost all of it. Your fat tissue can store so many good nutrients and bad toxins. Your liver, your blood, it can all store good nutrients and store bad toxins. And I don't like the word toxin, but the fact of the matter is there are toxins out there. Heavy metals are toxins, right? A registered neurotoxin is fluoride. It's a FDA registered neurotoxin. So fluoride's a toxin. Gets stuck in your brain, gets stuck in your fat tissue, gets stuck in your blood. So eat clean, eat clean. And there's so much. And again, the reason I said I don't like mentioning toxins is there's so many building blocks to how nutrition works. A common toxin people talk about is mercury in fish. Oh, mercury is so bad, don't eat fish. Well, but fish also has selenium, and in our body, selenium can actually balance out, can fight mercury, and it can bind to it and it can get rid of it. So, fish actually has both components. Yes, it has mercury that's bad, but it has selenium that's good, and it combines and it makes it, cancel out. In a lot of, not all fish, but in a lot of fish. So there's a lot of nuance to nutrition. If you are curious about a specific topic when it comes to nutrition, that's where I come in. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Comment something. Ask a question. We can talk about things. But at the end of the day, it's like, if you want specific advice, I have to know you. And that can happen very, very easily on one single phone call. So if you wanna get serious about your nutrition and get serious about how you understand nutrition, because that's what I do. I help you understand it. I don't give you a plan. I tell you how the nutrition actually works so that you can understand how to eat better. It's a really easy phone call. Let's do it. Go to usamedical.com, click on health coaching, book a call. This is the USA Medical Podcast. It's what we do here. We do podcasts at USA Medical, I think. My name is Jake. Thanks so much for watching. We're doing this every week again. I promise. We're back. We're doing it. It's great to see you again, and it's great to get this rolling. So I'll see you again next time. Ciao.